Okay, we're coming down to the end of this round, and what we're going to do, we call this the volley round, and in 2 minutes, we take on one question. It goes back and forth 4 times to each debater in turn, and they have only 30 seconds to answer the question. At the end of 30 seconds, a bell rings, and they have to stop and let the other side start speaking. I'm going to tell you what the question is now. The question for our volley round is, wildlife would be worse off if legal hunting did not exist. I'll repeat it. Wildlife would be worse off if legal hunting did not exist. I'm going to start with this side, and I'm going to start with you, Anthony Licata. Your 30 seconds starts now.
Yes, wildlife would be worse off if hunting didn't exist. Wayne has mentioned the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service several times. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has said repeatedly it's the funds generated by hunters that allow them to do their work and to manage wildlife habitats. They have said that hunters are the reason why we've gone from 10,000 elk to 120,000 elk. They're the reason why that have driven this great success of great game populations that benefit all animals all across the states.
Adam Roberts.
Well, perhaps I could say incorrect 30 times over, but no, wildlife would be better off if there was not legal hunting. I think I've used a number of examples from the Florida black bear to the wolves in Yellowstone that clearly show that even if hunting is lawful, there is still an impact on populations, and we can look throughout conservation history and see where time and time again that is the case. Remember, the example of the lion in Africa is of lawful hunting for 35 years that nearly decimated the population. That's not about poaching. Those are legal hunters.
Catherine Semcer.
It would certainly be worse off. Again, the World Wildlife Fund report showed that in the absence of hunting, 74% of wildlife conservancies in Namibia would not be financially solvent. This is homes to elephants, lions, giraffes, all turned over to raising cattle. Is that really what we want? Or do we want those lions, those elephants, those giraffes? So not only hunters can enjoy being out in the wilderness with them, but photo tourists as well.
Wayne Pacelli.
Mourning doves, dozens of birds would be better off if they weren't shot for target practice. Wolves would be better off if they weren't shot for their heads. Hunting is going to be around for a while. There's a deeply committed small segment of the American population that favors it. But let's not make the argument because it's untrue that somehow this is a big protector of wildlife in general. It's not.
And that concludes round 2 of this Intelligence Squared U.S. debate, where our motion is hunters conserve wildlife.